Sarah sat on her couch, her phone buzzing beside her. She picked it up and saw a text from her daughter, Emily. It read, "Dinner's canceled." A wave of disappointment washed over her. Sarah tried to hide her feelings. She took a deep breath and smiled. She had been excited about dinner. She planned to make Emily's favorite dish, a creamy pasta with fresh herbs. It was a recipe passed down from her mother. They had shared many family meals like this. Sarah remembered the laughter and love around their dinner table. It was a cherished tradition. As she stood in the kitchen, she felt a mix of sadness and hope. She decided to prepare the meal anyway. Maybe Emily would change her mind. Maybe they could still enjoy the evening together. Sarah gathered the ingredients, her hands moving through the motions while her mind wandered. She thought about the times she had supported Emily. There had been tough moments. Emily had struggled with school. Sarah had stayed up late helping her with homework. She had taken on extra shifts to pay for college, always believing in her daughter's dreams. Each sacrifice felt worth it when she saw Emily smile. With every stir of the pot, Sarah felt a flicker of hope. Family bonds could overcome anything, she told herself. They had been through so much together. She believed they would find their way back to each other. After finishing the dish, Sarah packed it into a container. She took a moment to admire her work. The pasta looked delicious and the smell filled the kitchen. She grabbed her keys and decided to drive to the restaurant. It was a familiar place, a spot filled with memories of happy celebrations. As she drove, her heart raced. What if Emily was just tired? What if she wanted to surprise her? Sarah kept her thoughts positive. She imagined them sharing the meal, laughing and talking about their days. When she arrived at the restaurant, she parked and took a deep breath. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow on the building. Sarah felt a sense of comfort wash over her. This was their place, a home away from home. But as she stepped out of the car, her heart sank. Through the large windows, she saw a group of people gathered around a table. Laughter spilled out into the evening air. Sarah felt a knot form in her stomach. She had not expected to see so many people. Curiosity pulled her closer. She peered through the glass and her heart dropped. There was Emily, her husband Alex, and a group of friends. They were celebrating, surrounded by a feast of gourmet dishes and expensive wines. The table was full of food and the atmosphere was lively. Sarah's breath caught in her throat. She felt a rush of emotions. Confusion, anger, and hurt swirled inside her. It was clear they were using her credit card for this lavish dinner. The realization hit her hard. She had worked so hard for her family. She had sacrificed so much, and now she felt forgotten. Memories flooded her mind. She remembered late nights at the office, saving every penny, dreaming of giving Emily a good life. Now it felt like all of that was in vain. Sarah stood frozen, watching the scene unfold. As she watched, she felt like a ghost, invisible to the joy and laughter inside. She thought of all the promises Emily had made. They had always said family mattered most. Yet here she was, standing outside, excluded from the celebration. Torn between her feelings of betrayal and the desire to confront them, Sarah pulled out her phone. She opened a text to Emily, but her fingers hesitated over the screen. Should she reach out? Should she demand answers? The laughter inside grew louder, echoing in her ears. It felt like a painful reminder of her exclusion. As she stood there, Sarah felt her heart break a little more. She had spent years building a strong bond with her daughter. Now it felt like that bond was slipping away. After a long moment, Sarah stepped back from the window. She felt lost and alone. She walked to her car, feeling the weight of her emotions pressing down on her. This was not how she had imagined the evening. Sitting in her car, she took a deep breath, trying to calm herself. She remembered a conversation she had with her best friend, Laura. They had talked about the importance of setting boundaries and being respected. With renewed determination, Sarah decided she could not let this go. She needed to take control of her life. No longer would she be the silent ATM, always there to support them but never appreciated. Her heart pounded as she picked up her phone and called Laura. She needed support. She needed someone to help her figure out what to do next. Laura answered quickly and Sarah poured out her feelings. She explained the situation, her voice shaking. Laura listened intently, offering words of encouragement. They discussed the best way to approach the situation. Sarah felt a spark of hope return. She was not alone. As the call ended, Sarah felt a sense of purpose. She would no longer be overlooked. She would stand up for herself. With determination in her heart, she drove away from the restaurant, ready to reclaim her life and her voice. Sarah drove away from the restaurant, her heart heavy with disappointment. She could not shake the image of Emily laughing with her friends. The warmth of the evening sun faded, leaving her feeling cold and alone. After a few minutes, she pulled into a nearby parking lot. She needed to gather her thoughts. She sat in her car, gripping the steering wheel tightly. The anger and hurt mixed inside her like a storm. How could Emily do this to her? Sarah took a deep breath and tried to calm her racing heart. She thought about the restaurant. It was the same place where they had celebrated birthdays and anniversaries. It held so many memories. Now it felt tainted. She looked up at the restaurant sign. It glowed in the dimming light. The laughter she had heard echoed in her mind, a cruel reminder of her exclusion. She felt her heart sink further. It wasn't just the dinner, it was the betrayal. After a moment, Sarah decided she needed to see more. She was curious and needed closure. With determination, she got out of her car and walked back to the restaurant. Each step felt heavy, but she pushed forward. When she reached the entrance, she paused. The laughter grew louder as she stepped inside. The atmosphere was bright and cheerful. The waiter greeted her with a smile, but she felt numb. She wasn't here to celebrate, she was here to confront the truth. As she walked toward the table, she saw Emily's face light up. But when Emily noticed Sarah, her smile faded. The group fell silent. All eyes turned to Sarah, and the tension in the air thickened. Sarah swallowed hard. She felt exposed but knew she had to speak. She approached the table, her heart pounding. Emily looked surprised, and Alex's expression shifted to concern. "What are you doing here?" Emily asked, her voice cautious. Sarah took a deep breath. She felt the weight of their past pressing down on her, but she stood tall. She spoke slowly, making sure her words were clear. "I saw you all through the window. I can't believe you chose this over having dinner with me. I thought we had plans," she said. Emily shifted in her seat, looking uncomfortable. "We didn't think you would want to come. You said you were busy cooking." Sarah felt her frustration boil. "I was cooking for you. I wanted to share a meal together like we used to. Instead, I see you celebrating with friends and my money." The group exchanged glances. Emily opened her mouth to respond, but Sarah pressed on. "You promised me that family comes first, but it feels like I am just an afterthought. How could you do this?" Sarah's voice shook, but she held her ground. The truth hung in the air, heavy and raw. Emily's friends shifted uncomfortably, unsure of how to react. Emily looked down, her face reddening. "Mom, it's not like that. We just wanted to have a good time. I didn't think you would mind." "Didn't think I would mind?" Sarah felt her voice rise. "I have given you so much. I have worked hard to support you, and this is how I am repaid, by being left out." The room fell silent. The tension was palpable. Sarah's heart raced as she faced the truth of their relationship. This was not just about dinner, it was about respect, love, and family. Alex finally spoke up, trying to ease the tension. "Sarah, it's not what you think. We just wanted to celebrate. It was supposed to be a fun night." "Fun?" Sarah echoed. "Fun for whom? I am always the one who sacrifices for this family, and tonight you chose to ignore me." A wave of realization washed over the group. Emily's friends exchanged uneasy looks. Sarah could see doubt in their eyes. They were witnessing a family fracture. Emily looked up, her expression softening. "I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought you would understand." Sarah took a step back, feeling the weight of her daughter's words. "Understand what? That I am not important, that my feelings don't matter." "Of course they do," Emily said quickly. "I just wanted to have a night with our friends. I thought you would be okay with it." Sarah shook her head. "I am not okay with it. I deserve to be included in my family's life, not pushed aside for a night of fun." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't realize how much this would hurt you." The tension in the air shifted slightly. Sarah felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was the start of a real conversation, but she remained cautious. Apologies are good, Sarah said, her voice steady, but actions speak louder than words. You need to show me that you value our relationship. Emily nodded, her expression serious. I will, I promise to do better. I want you to be a part of my life. As Sarah looked around the table, she saw the faces of Emily's friends. They were watching closely, unsure of how this would play out. A mix of emotions swirled inside her, hurt, anger, and a glimmer of hope. I need time to think, Sarah said finally. This isn't just about tonight, we need to rebuild trust. Emily reached out, tears in her eyes. Please let me show you that I care. I want us to be close again. Sarah took a deep breath. She felt the weight of the moment. I will think about it, but I need you to understand how serious this is. With that, Sarah turned and walked away from the table. She stepped outside into the cool night air, her heart still heavy but lightened by the conversation. There was a long road ahead, but maybe, just maybe, they could find their way back to each other. Sarah walked away from the restaurant, her heart heavy but her mind racing. The conversation with Emily had stirred many feelings. She felt hurt, but there was also a small glimmer of hope. Maybe they could mend their relationship. As she drove home, her thoughts swirled. She recalled the look on Emily's face when she finally realized how much Sarah had been hurt. It was a mix of surprise and regret, but Sarah knew that one conversation would not be enough. When she arrived home, she sat on the couch, staring at the walls. They felt empty. The silence echoed around her. She wanted to believe Emily would change, but doubts crept in. Could this be the start of something better or just a temporary fix? Sarah picked up her phone and scrolled through her contacts. She found Laura's name and pressed call. Laura picked up on the second ring. Hey, how did it go? Laura asked, her voice bright and encouraging. It was tough, Sarah admitted. We talked, but I still feel lost. I don't know if Emily really understands how hurt I am. Laura listened carefully. It's a start, though. You confronted her, and that took courage. You deserve to be heard. I know, but it feels like one conversation can't fix everything. I want her to see how much I've given up for her, how much she means to me, Sarah said, her voice filled with emotion. Maybe you need to remind her, Laura suggested. Think about all the sacrifices you made, share those stories with Emily, help her understand your feelings. Sarah nodded, even though Laura couldn't see her. That made sense. Emily needed to understand the depth of Sarah's love and pain. Thanks, Laura. I think I'll do that, Sarah replied, feeling a sense of purpose. I'll talk to her again soon. After hanging up, Sarah felt more determined. She needed to find a way to express her feelings clearly. It was time to stop being silent. The next day, Sarah planned to meet Emily. She thought about where they could sit down and talk without distractions. A cafe came to mind. It was a place they had visited often, filled with good memories. When the time came, Sarah arrived early. She sat at a small table, watching the people around her. The place was lively, filled with laughter and chatter. It reminded her of the warmth she longed for in her own life. Emily walked in, looking a bit nervous. She spotted Sarah and made her way over. Hey, Mom, she said softly, taking a seat across from her. Hi, Emily, Sarah replied, trying to keep her tone neutral. Thanks for coming. I'm really sorry about last night, Emily said, her voice sincere. I didn't mean to hurt you, I was just caught up in the moment. Sarah took a deep breath. I appreciate your apology, but I need you to understand why this hurt me so much. Emily nodded, her eyes focused on Sarah. I want to understand, please tell me. Sarah thought for a moment. I've always been there for you. I worked hard to support you, even during tough times. I wanted you to know that family means everything to me. When I saw you celebrating without me, it felt like all my efforts didn't matter. Tears filled Emily's eyes. I never wanted you to feel that way. I just thought it would be a fun night. I didn't think it would hurt you. It did hurt, Sarah said gently. I felt like I was invisible. I want to be included in your life, not pushed aside. Emily wiped her tears. I promise to do better. I want you to be part of my life, Mom. I really do. Sarah felt a mix of hope and caution. It's more than just promises. I need to see actions. I want us to rebuild trust. I can't be your silent supporter anymore." Emily nodded, her expression serious. "I understand. I want to show you that I value our relationship. I'll work on being more mindful." As they talked, Sarah felt the tension begin to lift. The conversation was starting to flow, and she sensed a shift in their dynamic. Emily was listening, really listening. "I want to share something with you," Sarah said, her voice steady. "I've given up a lot for you. It's important for you to know the sacrifices I made. I hope it helps you understand my feelings better." Emily leaned in, her eyes wide with interest. "Yes, please tell me." Sarah took a deep breath and began to share stories. She spoke about the late nights at work, the times she had to say no to herself for Emily's sake, and the love she poured into every moment they spent together. As she spoke, she saw the realization dawning on Emily's face. The understanding was slowly sinking in. "I never knew you felt this way," Emily said, her voice filled with regret. "I'm so sorry for taking you for granted." "I just want us to have a strong relationship," Sarah replied, her heart softening. "I want to be part of your life, not just a supporter from the sidelines." Emily reached across the table and took Sarah's hand. "I want that too, Mom. I promise to make an effort." The warmth of the moment wrapped around them. It was a step forward, but Sarah knew it would take time. They would have to work on rebuilding their relationship together. As they left the cafe, Sarah felt lighter. She was hopeful. This was just the beginning, but she was ready to face whatever came next. Together they could build a stronger bond, one built on understanding and respect. After their heartfelt conversation at the cafe, Sarah felt a renewed sense of hope. She wanted to believe that things could change, but deep down she also knew that change required action. That evening, Sarah sat at her kitchen table, her mind racing. She thought about everything she had shared with Emily. They had made progress, but she needed to establish boundaries. The last thing she wanted was to fall back into old habits. She picked up her phone and called Laura again. "I need your help," Sarah said when Laura answered. "I want to take control of my finances. I can't keep being the silent supporter." Laura's voice was encouraging. "That sounds like a great idea, Sarah. Setting boundaries is important. What do you have in mind?" "I want to freeze my accounts," Sarah explained. "I need to make sure I'm not just giving money away without being appreciated. I want to be respected." "Let's meet tomorrow," Laura suggested. "We can go through your accounts and figure out a plan." Sarah agreed, feeling a sense of relief. She was ready to take action. The next day, she met Laura at a nearby cafe. They sat at a corner table, sipping coffee as they discussed the steps Sarah needed to take. "I want to make it clear to Emily that I won't just be a source of money," Sarah said firmly. "She needs to understand that my support comes with respect." Laura nodded. "That's a smart approach. Let's start by looking at your accounts. We can see where changes need to be made." They spent the next hour reviewing Sarah's finances. Laura guided her through the banking app on her phone. Sarah felt empowered as she learned how to manage her money better. "Let's freeze your accounts for now," Laura suggested. "This will give you time to think about how you want to move forward." Sarah hesitated for a moment. The idea of freezing her accounts felt drastic, but she knew it was necessary. She wanted to reclaim her life. With a deep breath, she agreed. As they worked together, Sarah felt a wave of liberation wash over her. Each decision she made was a step toward independence. She pressed the button to freeze her accounts, and a sense of relief filled her. "Good job," Laura cheered, and Sarah smiled. It felt like a weight had been lifted. After their meeting, Sarah drove home, her heart racing with excitement. She was finally taking control of her life. No longer would she be a silent ATM, always available but never appreciated. That evening, she sent Emily a text. "I want to talk soon. I made some decisions about my finances." Emily replied quickly, "Okay, Mom, I'm here whenever you need to talk." Sarah felt a mix of anticipation and anxiety. She knew this conversation would be tough, but it was necessary. She needed Emily to understand her new boundaries. The next day they met at the same cafe where they had talked before. Emily looked nervous, her eyes scanning the room. "Hey Mom," she said, taking a seat. "What's going on?" "Thank you for coming," Sarah replied, her voice steady. "I've been thinking a lot about our conversation. It made me realize I need to take control of my life." Emily leaned in, listening intently. "What do you mean?" "I decided to freeze my accounts," Sarah said, watching Emily's reaction. "I need to set boundaries for myself. I can't keep giving without being respected." Emily's expression shifted to concern. "What do you mean? Why would you do that?" "Because I feel taken for granted," Sarah explained. "I've supported you for so long and it feels like my sacrifices don't matter. I want to be there for you, but I also need to take care of myself." Emily looked down, her face filled with regret. "I didn't realize how much I relied on you without thinking. I'm really sorry, Mom." "I appreciate your apology," Sarah said gently, "but I need you to understand that my support comes with respect. I won't be available to fund everything anymore." Emily nodded slowly, her eyes filled with understanding. "I get it. I need to be more independent. I should have been more mindful of your feelings." Sarah felt a glimmer of hope. "I want us to have a relationship based on mutual respect. That means we both need to work on this." "I promise to do better, Mom," Emily said earnestly. "I want to respect your boundaries. I know I've taken you for granted and I'm sorry." As they talked, Sarah saw a change in Emily. There was sincerity in her words. It was a step in the right direction, but Sarah knew they had a long way to go. "Let's work together on this," Sarah suggested. "I want to help you become more independent. We can set new goals for your finances and your life." Emily smiled, her eyes shining. "I'd like that. I want to learn how to stand on my own 2 feet." The atmosphere between them felt lighter. Sarah felt proud of Emily for wanting to grow. They were taking steps toward a healthier relationship. As they left the cafe, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was taking control of her life and her finances. She was ready to embrace this new chapter, one where she was respected and valued. In that moment, Sarah knew they were on the right path. Together, they could build a stronger bond based on understanding, respect, and love. The journey would not be easy, but she was ready to face it head-on. After their meeting at the cafe, Sarah felt a new sense of purpose. She was ready to help Emily become more independent while also taking care of herself. The conversation had been a turning point, however, Sarah knew that it was just the beginning. They had to work hard to rebuild their relationship. Over the next few days, Sarah and Emily communicated more. They texted regularly, discussing small things like meals and plans. It was nice to feel connected again, but Sarah also felt a pang of caution. She wanted to make sure that this time was different. One evening, Sarah sat down with her laptop. She remembered the discussions they had about Emily's finances. She decided to make a plan for Emily to learn about budgeting and saving. This would be a way to teach her independence. As Sarah worked, she felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. Teaching Emily would not only help her daughter but also strengthen their bond. Sarah wanted Emily to know that she could stand on her own feet. The next day, Sarah invited Emily over. She wanted to present her plan. When Emily arrived, she looked curious. "Hey Mom, what are we working on today?" Emily asked, her smile brightening the room. "Sit down, I have something important to show you," Sarah replied, gesturing to the table where she had set up her laptop. Emily took a seat, her excitement evident. "What is it?" "I created a budgeting plan for you," Sarah explained, opening the document. "I want to help you learn how to manage your money better." Emily's eyes widened. "Wow, that's really cool, Mom. I'd love to learn." Sarah felt a rush of pride. "Great, let's go through it together." As they reviewed the plan, Sarah explained the basics of budgeting, income, expenses, and savings. She emphasized the importance of tracking spending. She wanted Emily to see where her money was going. "I want you to be able to make your own choices," Sarah said. "This plan will help you understand your finances better." Emily nodded, taking notes as they went along. "This is really helpful, Mom. I never thought about it this way." Sarah smiled. It's all about being aware of your choices. You have to decide what is worth spending on and what can wait. They spent hours working on the budget. Sarah felt a sense of accomplishment as they made progress. Emily was engaged and eager to learn. It warmed Sarah's heart to see her daughter taking interest in her own future. As they wrapped up, Emily looked at Sarah with gratitude. "Thank you for doing this. I feel more confident already." "I'm glad to hear that," Sarah replied, smiling. "Remember, it's a journey. You'll learn as you go." The next few weeks were filled with more learning and growing. Emily began to take charge of her finances, and Sarah was proud to see the changes. Emily started tracking her spending and even set up a savings account. One evening, Emily called Sarah excitedly. "Mom, I saved my first paycheck. I'm so proud of myself." Sarah felt a rush of joy. "That's amazing. I knew you could do it." "I want to save for something special," Emily said. "I want to go on a trip with my friends. This budgeting is really working." "That's a great goal," Sarah replied. "You're doing fantastic. Just remember to keep balancing your spending and saving." As time went on, their relationship continued to improve. They laughed together more often and shared stories about their days. Sarah felt like she was getting to know Emily again, and it brought her happiness. But even with progress, Sarah still had moments of doubt. She worried about slipping back into old patterns. She wanted to make sure she didn't lose her voice again. One day, Sarah decided to address her concerns. She invited Emily over for a chat. "Emily, can we talk about something?" Sarah asked when they settled down on the couch. "Of course, Mom. What's on your mind?" Emily replied, looking attentive. "I've noticed how much progress you've made with your finances, and I'm proud of you," Sarah began. "But I want to make sure we continue to communicate openly." Emily nodded, her eyes serious. "I agree. I don't want to go back to how things were before. I want us to have a strong relationship." "Me too," Sarah said, her voice filled with emotion. "We need to keep checking in with each other. If something feels off, I want us to talk about it right away." "I promise to do that," Emily said earnestly. "I never want to hurt you again. You mean so much to me." Sarah smiled, feeling a wave of relief. "Thank you for understanding. It's important for both of us to feel respected." As they talked, Sarah felt a sense of hope rising within her. They were building a new foundation, one based on trust and understanding. Their conversations became deeper and more meaningful. They shared their thoughts and dreams, and Sarah felt a warmth in her heart. She was grateful for the journey they were on together. One evening, as they sat together, Emily turned to Sarah. "Mom, you've taught me so much about money, but you've also taught me about love and support. I appreciate you more than I can say." Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. "I love you, Emily. I always have. I just want the best for you." "I know," Emily said, her voice firm, "and I want to show you that I can be independent while still being close to you." With those words, Sarah knew they were moving in the right direction. Together, they were creating a healthier relationship, one built on respect, love, and understanding. As they embraced, Sarah felt lighter. She was ready to face the future with confidence, knowing that they would navigate it together. Sarah felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness as she prepared to confront Emily again. Their recent progress had been encouraging, but she knew they needed to have a serious discussion about boundaries. Sarah had been thinking about the dinner incident and how it made her feel. She wanted to make sure it never happened again. One weekend, Sarah invited Emily to her home for dinner. She planned a simple meal of roasted chicken and vegetables, something they both enjoyed. As Sarah cooked, she felt a sense of anticipation. This conversation was important, and she wanted to approach it in a way that encouraged openness. When Emily arrived, she greeted Sarah with a warm hug. "It smells amazing in here," she exclaimed, her eyes lighting up as she took in the delicious aroma. "Thanks, I'm glad you're here," Sarah replied, feeling a sense of warmth. They settled down at the table and Sarah served the meal. As they ate, they chatted about their week, sharing stories and laughing together. It felt good to reconnect. After dinner, Sarah took a deep breath. It was time to address the elephant in the room. Emily, can we talk about something important? She asked, her voice steady. Of course, Mom, what's on your mind? Emily replied, putting down her fork and looking attentive. Sarah felt her heart race. I want to discuss boundaries. I know we've made progress, but I need to be clear about my expectations moving forward. Emily nodded, her expression serious. I'm listening, Mom, I want to understand. I've realized that I need to be more assertive about my feelings and my finances, Sarah explained. I don't want to be taken for granted again. I want you to know that my support comes with respect. Emily's face softened. I get it. I never wanted you to feel that way. I'm really sorry for how things went before. I appreciate your apology, Sarah said, but I need to make sure we both understand what this means. I want to be involved in your life, but I also need to take care of myself. Absolutely, Emily replied. I don't want you to feel like you have to support me if it's not working for you. Sarah felt a sense of relief. Thank you for understanding. I want us to be a team, but that means we both need to communicate openly. They talked for a while longer, discussing their boundaries and expectations. Emily shared her thoughts on independence and Sarah expressed her desire for mutual respect. The conversation flowed easily and Sarah felt a weight lift off her shoulders. As they wrapped up, Sarah smiled. I'm glad we had this talk. It feels good to be on the same page. Me too, Mom, Emily said, her eyes shining. I'm committed to making this work. The next day, Sarah received a text from Emily. Hey, Mom, I was thinking about our conversation. I want to do something special for you to show my appreciation. Sarah felt a wave of warmth. That sounds wonderful. What do you have in mind? Emily replied quickly, how about a day out together, just you and me? We can go to that new art exhibit and grab lunch afterward. Sarah's heart swelled. I'd love that. It sounds perfect. They agreed on a date for their outing and Sarah felt a sense of excitement. This was a step towards strengthening their bond. She wanted to cherish moments like these. On the day of their outing, Sarah woke up feeling energized. She picked out a comfortable outfit and did her hair. She wanted to look good for the day ahead. When they met, Emily greeted Sarah with a big smile. You look great, Mom, ready for a fun day. Absolutely, let's go, Sarah replied, feeling a rush of happiness. They spent the day exploring the art exhibit, admiring the creativity and talent on display. As they walked through the galleries, they chatted and laughed, sharing their thoughts on the pieces they saw. It felt refreshing to connect in this way. At lunch, they found a cozy cafe and settled down at a table outside. The weather was perfect, and they enjoyed the sunshine as they ate. I'm really glad we're spending this time together, Emily said, her voice warm. It means a lot to me. Me too, Sarah replied. I want us to keep building our relationship. It's important to me. After lunch, they strolled through the nearby park, enjoying the fresh air. They talked about their dreams and plans for the future. Emily shared her aspirations for her career, and Sarah encouraged her to pursue her passions. As they walked, they passed a small pond filled with ducks. Emily stopped and laughed as she watched them swim. Look at them, they're so cute. Sarah smiled, her heart full. Yes, they are just like you. Emily turned to her, a serious look on her face. I want you to know that I appreciate everything you've done for me. I'm committed to making our relationship stronger. Thank you, Emily. That means the world to me, Sarah replied, feeling a sense of warmth in her chest. As the sun began to set, they found a bench and sat down. The sky was painted with shades of orange and pink, creating a beautiful backdrop. In that moment, Sarah felt a sense of peace. They had come a long way together, and she was proud of the progress they had made. Mom, Emily said softly, breaking the silence, I want to promise you that I'll always be open and honest. I don't want to go back to how things were before. Sarah nodded, feeling tears prick her eyes. I promise to do the same, Emily. Together we can build a relationship based on trust and love. As they embraced, Sarah knew they were moving forward. They had faced challenges, but they were stronger for it. This day was a reminder that they could navigate anything together. With hope in her heart, Sarah looked forward to the future. They would continue to grow and support each other no matter what came their way. Together, they were ready to embrace whatever life had in store. After their wonderful day together, Sarah felt a renewed sense of hope. She and Emily had taken significant steps toward rebuilding their relationship. Still, Sarah was aware that maintaining this new bond required ongoing effort. They had made promises to each other, and she intended to keep hers. In the following weeks, Sarah noticed changes in Emily. She was more mindful of her choices and shared updates about her finances with enthusiasm. Emily even started to take the initiative in planning their outings. It warmed Sarah's heart to see her daughter growing more independent. One afternoon, Sarah received a text from Emily. "Hey Mom, can we have dinner together tonight? I want to talk." Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nerves. "Of course, what time?" she replied quickly. "Let's say 6 o'clock, I'll bring dessert," Emily responded. As the clock approached 6, Sarah prepared a simple meal. She felt curious about what Emily wanted to discuss. When Emily arrived, she brought a delicious-looking cake, still warm from the oven. "Wow, you baked this," Sarah exclaimed, admiring the treat. "Yep, it's your favorite," Emily said with a proud smile. "I wanted to do something special for you." They sat down to eat, and Sarah couldn't help but feel grateful. The meal was filled with laughter and light conversation. After they finished eating, Emily cleared the dishes and brought out the cake. "Okay, Mom, time for dessert," Emily said, beaming as she cut the cake. As they enjoyed the cake, Emily's expression shifted. She looked serious but determined. "Mom, I've been thinking about our relationship and everything we've worked on." Sarah set down her fork, feeling the weight of Emily's words. "What's on your mind?" "I want to apologize again for how I treated you before," Emily began. "I never realized how much my actions affected you. I've been reflecting on it a lot." Sarah nodded, encouraging her to continue. "I appreciate that, Emily. Acknowledging the past is important." "Well, I want to do more than just apologize. I want to show you that I've changed," Emily said earnestly. "I've been saving money from my paycheck, and I'd like to use some of it to treat you to something special." Sarah felt a rush of emotion. "You don't have to do that, Emily. Just spending time together means a lot to me." "I know, but I want to give back to you," Emily insisted. "You've done so much for me, and I want to show you how much I appreciate it. Can we plan a weekend trip together?" Sarah's heart swelled. "A trip sounds wonderful. Where do you want to go?" "I was thinking maybe we could visit that seaside town we used to go to when I was little. Remember how much fun we had there?" Emily asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Sarah smiled at the memory. "Yes, I remember. We had a fantastic time at the beach. It would be great to go back." "Let's make it happen," Emily said, her enthusiasm infectious. "I'll handle the booking and planning. You just need to relax and enjoy it." Sarah felt a warmth spread through her. This was a new side of Emily, one that showed her growth and maturity. "I'd love that, Emily. Thank you for wanting to do this." As they finished the cake, Sarah felt a sense of peace. They were moving in the right direction, and this trip would be a wonderful way to celebrate their progress. In the following weeks, Emily took charge of planning the trip. She researched accommodations, activities, and even made a list of places to eat. Sarah watched with pride as her daughter embraced her independence. When the day of the trip finally arrived, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and nostalgia. They packed their bags and set off on the road together, reminiscing about old memories along the way. As they drove, Emily shared her plans for the weekend. "We can relax on the beach, go for walks, and maybe even visit that ice cream shop we loved." "I can't wait," Sarah replied, feeling a sense of joy. It was a chance to create new memories while cherishing the old ones. When they arrived at the seaside town, the fresh ocean breeze welcomed them. The sound of waves crashing against the shore filled the air. Sarah felt a wave of calm wash over her. They checked into their cozy beachside cottage and immediately headed for the beach. The sun was shining and the sand felt warm beneath their feet. Emily ran ahead, laughing as she splashed in the shallow water. "Come on, Mom, it's perfect," Emily called, her voice filled with joy. Sarah followed, joining her daughter in the water. They played and laughed, feeling the weight of the past lift. It was a day filled with light and love. As the sun began to set, they sat on the beach, watching the sky turn shades of orange and pink. Sarah felt grateful for this moment. She turned to Emily and said, "Thank you for this trip. It means so much to me." Emily smiled, her eyes shining. "I'm really glad we're here together. I feel like our relationship is stronger than ever." Sarah nodded, her heart full. "It really is. I believe we're building something beautiful together." As they watched the sun dip below the horizon, Sarah knew they had come a long way. They had faced challenges, but they had emerged stronger and more connected. The trip turned out to be a turning point in their relationship. They spent the weekend exploring, laughing, and sharing their thoughts. Each moment felt precious, a reminder of how far they had come. When they returned home, Sarah felt a sense of renewal. They had created lasting memories and reaffirmed their commitment to each other. As they embraced, Sarah realized that they were ready to face whatever life had in store. Together, they would continue to build a relationship based on mutual respect, love, and understanding. With hope in her heart, Sarah looked forward to the future, knowing that they could navigate anything together.